Hi everybody, welcome back to Arma Reforger, and I wanted to do a super quick video for new players on how to do long range sniping, well I guess medium to long range sniping, and to learn about zeroing and how you can kind of range find quickly in this amazing game. So where we are now, this is a typical kind of sniping scenario, I think. So if we go to Games Master, so I can kind of show you. So we're on Ireland. And this military site is normally one of the major capture points in conflict, and you've got to capture this area here. But up on top of the bluffs, on top of the cliffs, what you find is enemies will make their way over here to capture it, and also defenders will be on top of the cliffs because they can see enemies coming along. So it's quite a good strong point, but a good way to counter them is actually over here on the right, where my character is here, because you can look across at any enemies here as they're looking down on the capture site, and also you can see down into the main base area here, and you've got some really good cover. You've got these bushes, you can retreat to this creek, you could put a radio backpack and this sort of thing, and I've done this quite a few times. So let's jump back into the players, the character. And I can show you some tricks that I use. Now, I'm going to be honest, I think it's much easier to snipe with the Russian weapons than it is with the American weapons. So here we've got the Russian SVD, which is it called the Dragunov as well? And the reason for this is that it has a rangefinder in the scope when you attach the scope. So here we have the scope, so as you can see. So the thing is, if you look in the bottom right hand corner of the screen, you'll see my zeroing. So my magnification is 4 times and my zeroing is at 100 meters. So if a target was 100 meters away, I would put the top arrow that's in the middle between the 10s on their head, pull it, and I should get a headshot. Now in reality, I would always recommend don't aim for head, aim for upper chest. And that way, if you're a little bit high, you'll hit the head. If you're a little below, you'll still get a good shot on the chest. But the problem is, how do I know how far away? And bullets drop an awful lot. And so what I can do is, if you go up and down on the D-pad, or I think it's up and down on the numpad. Is it? Let's have a look. Is it page up, page down? Yeah, page up, page down on your keyboard will change the zeroing. And by changing the zero, it just means the point at which, or the range at which your bullet will strike your target in the center at the top will be at those distances. So we've got to work out how far this soldier is away. Now, with the Russian sites, they have this rather handy rangefinder here. See this thing on the left of the site? And there's a bottom line that says 1.7, and then you've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 going along. Now, it says 1.7 because that's the average height of a soldier. So every soldier in Arma Reforger is 1.7 meters high. So what we can do is, if we line up the bottom red line with roughly where their feet is, and then we line the curved line with roughly where their head is, that will give us a number. So for these guys, for example, as you can see, if their feet would be about, if I tell you, let's lie down so we're a little bit more prone. Let's go forward a little bit. Let's lie down like this. There we go, a bit steadier now. So his feet would be roughly there, and his head is above 2. Okay, so what that means is he is less than 200 meters away. Why isn't this letting me aim down sight? What's going on? Let's do that again. Why is my controller playing up? So he's less than 200 meters away. So he's probably about 100 meters away. Now that's the lowest I can zero this scope to. So I would be pretty okay if I aimed at him like this, so upper chest, and pulled the trigger. Chances are, allowing for movement, we would then hit him. So let's have a look at a target that's a little bit further away. Now we're all Americans because I didn't want them to start firing at me. So if we kind of, let's go down here. Let's see if we can go prone. Okay, so let's look at these guys over here. So if we line these guys up, so we put the bottom line where his feet is, and then his head is just between 2 and the middle line, so he's probably about 250 meters away. So what I could then do is I can change my zeroing to, say, 200. Now we know he's a little bit further away than that, so there's going to be a little bit of a drop. So if I was to fire at him about there, chances are we're going to hit him. Now a lot of the time you're going to you should be prepared to double tap people with your sniper, so bang bang to hit them, or obviously if they start moving you're going to have to fire at them a few times. So that would be about there. So let's go over here and let's just have a look at these guys. Are there any guys over there? They wandered off. Okay, so those guys have wandered off. Let's see if there's still some guys over here. Right, so this this is a really long shot here. So let's go down. Let's go prone. So these guys are a long way away. You can probably just about see them. So if I line them up there, we can see if we put their feet there. So these guys are a kilometre away. They're 1,000 metres away. So that's an awful lot of drop. So if I put that into my zeroing, so if I've zeroed to 1,000 metres. Now the chances of me hitting this shot are not very high at all. But I've zeroed it in, and there's a chance with that. And maybe we wouldn't hit them to kill them, but the bullets would drop close, and they were probably like, "Oh my gosh, what's going on?" and then proceed to run around. So as you can see, the Dragunov or the SVD is really useful with that built-in rangefinder. What I would say though, when it comes to this stuff, is that if you zero at say 100 meters and you aim at people sort of in the middle, like there, when they're a reasonable distance away, chances are you're going to hit them, and you can adjust for bullet drop when you see the bullets hit the ground. So if you haven't got time, if you kind of do something like that. Now, actually, the other thing is if you're using like the Dragunov and people are very close to you, so you're involved in close fights. Let's say there was a guy, say in where are we? Say I was trying to hit someone behind that rock there. You've got to be very careful of the fact that if you put the centre of the sight over their head, chances are you're going to shoot over the top of them, because that's 0 for 100 metres, and we're probably only sort of 30 metres away. So again, aim for the middle of the body. Now if we swap to the American rifle, which is called the M21, things are a little bit more difficult with this one. Because if we look down, aim down sights, we can see, let's go down to, it'll only zero in for 300 metres. And as you see, there's no built-in rangefinder. So that makes things a little bit trickier. It does fire nice and fast though, so it is you can just kind of aim middle body and then pepper people away. Or if you have got time, what I would suggest you do is if you bring up the map and look at it, see all these squares here? All these squares are 100 metres across. If you look in the bottom left hand corner, you can see there's the black and white stripe that says 100 metres. So if we look at the map and we figure out where we are now, if you're on a modded server where they've got the "Where are we" mod or "Where am I" mod, you know exactly where you are. But I can look at this map and go, okay, so there's power lines there, aren't they? And the bluffs somewhere there. So where am I? So let's have a look round. So all right, so there's the power lines in front of me. So I'm just to the east of these power lines. Okay, so we can look at the map and go. So I know, therefore, going in, I'm probably round about here, and they're round about over here, so they're roughly 100 meters away. So that's that one. Now the other one is those guys down there, wasn't it? They were down there on the base. So if I'm up here, if I'm, where do we say? So if I'm here and they're down there, that's 2 squares away, isn't it? It's 1, 2, so, and a bit more, maybe 250. So that's where they are. So I then zero my scope for that. The guys who are on that island, we're starting to get really long distances away. But you could do the same again. Count the number of squares. Now, again, these are good situations where you've got enemies that are in static positions. NPCs are great for this because they don't move around very much. Real players tend to be running around all over the place, so it's very difficult to do this sort of thing. But hopefully this is giving you some ideas. And again, if in doubt, aim centre mass or chest, and then adjust for bullet drop when you see the bullets coming down. Right, okay, hopefully this has been useful. There are much more sophisticated ways of working out ranges and doing it much more accurately, but I find these are quicker. And as I would say, if you're playing as an American and you come across a Russian sniper and you can grab his Dragunov, definitely go that. I definitely think it's a better weapon in terms of the speed at which you can work out distances because of that built-in rangefinder. Anyway, that's enough from me. Do some other research online. There's lots of people who've got great videos about how to work out distance using binoculars, which you can do as well because it is calibrated. And the trick with all of this stuff is if you know the height of something and you know the magnification of the optical device, you can then work out the distance. So we know that soldiers are 1.7 meters high, so we can relate that to the size, the markings on the binoculars, whether that be NATO or Russian, and work out the distance. But that's a little bit more complicated, so I'm not going to go into that today on this particular video. But hopefully this has been useful. If it has been, hit like. If you want to see more of the same, press subscribe. And of course, I will see you again soon.